Tutorial, I'll show you how you can generate a cube fire animation using the Python API for Blender. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that I host a live stream every single day. What you do is you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then you can go to the live sub menu. Okay, and then right here, see watch menu, then live sub menu. You can see the current and post dated live streams. You see the channel it's going to be on and the approximate date and time. And then on the top here, you can see, for example, here, tells you the date, time, and it's always going to be Eastern time. You're free to ask questions, anything about programming or related topics. And you can, here's a link, you can click on it, you go to that channel, then you'll be able to log in and ask questions that way, or else you can watch the embedded video below, and I'll show you that in a second. So Blender is a 3D creation software tool. It does other things such as you can also you can draw some 2D and then animate those, and then you can also do video. It has a video sequencer, a video sequence editor, where you can obviously edit videos. That's how I edit all my videos. And obviously you can also combine some of the things here. For example, you can model something in like a 3D model or a 2D model, then you can use it as a scene and bring that into the VSC and you can edit it. But in this, we're not going to do that today. All we're going to do is we're going to stick to the just the 3D part, and then we can render out without going to using the video sequencer. But if you want, we can also take it as a scene and put it into the video sequencer. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it more simple. Just make the animation. Now, the Blender version I use is the latest version, which is 4.4.1, I believe. I haven't checked in about a week, so it might have updated since then, but I believe it's 4.4. We'll check as well. So we'll be using the Eevee renderer. And then also, you see all my settings. I will show you everything to you. So Blender is cross-platform for Mac OS, including POS type systems, Windows and Linux. I'm using Linux. It's written in C++ and Python. The one we care about is a Python because you can extend it yourself or make your own custom scripts. There are also extensions, add-ons, themes, and I already explained it comes with a built-in video sequence editor, the VSC. So now to begin, the gist of our tutorial is that we're going to use the quick smoke effect to create a fire animation. And of course, you need to have Blender. Sorry, not Blender, Python. You need to have the Python installed, and I'll show you how to do that. So basically, we're going to use the default cube object. We create a smoke effect. Then what we're going to do for that effect, we're going to change it from smoke to fire. However, the funny thing is, you will notice that it will not work. And you might be scratching your head. And the reason is because the latest versions, I believe from 3 and up, is that you need to tweak something, and that is in the smoke domain material settings. You need to tweak them before the render in order to see what you're rendering in a viewport. I'll explain that to you when we actually do it. And obviously you can render out. And also I'm going to show you how to create a blend file, all in Python. Okay, so to follow along, you obviously need Blender. You can use the text editor, you can use the built-in one, the scripting one in Blender. If you obviously need to work on the command line for the Python. So if you're running on a remote server or it's not the same workstation, I recommend using SSH, the Secure Shell Client. Here's an example, OpenSH, but they're different clients. And shell access just means the command line. Okay, so the Blender scripting tab, it has obviously a text editor, syntax highlighting, auto completion, smart indent, find and replace, and you can obviously run scripts there. We'll do all that as well. I'll show you that later. Obviously, there's a file menu, edit menu, render menu, and help menu. You see that when we go to Blender. I've done this a few times now. I'm just repeating myself. Okay, so as you can see here, this will be basically the final project output. And as you can see in the viewport, we have our smoke domain here, and then inside here you see the glowing, that's a cube. So that's the fire effect. Now, if you render this out using the viewport, it will look just like that. And this is in the scripting tab. We can actually run it here as well. And then when you render it out, as I said, we need to make a few tweaks because we're using the EV engine in order for it to, in order to see the fire here and obviously the entire animation. I took this is just one screenshot of one frame. Okay, and obviously this is where you can get Blender, and this is where you can get Python, so you can go and download them. As I was right, so the latest Blender as time of this recording 4.4, and Python. Oop, we're in the wrong place for Python. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so it's python.org, and you can download Python here. The latest version at the time of this recording is, let's go to downloads. Yeah, 3.13.3. Okay, so back to the article here, and obviously Blender is open source. It's listed under the GNU Public License version 2. That's a copyleft license. And Python is listed under Python Software Foundation license. That's a permissive license. I will, there's something that came up with one of my clients about licenses. So I think I'll do a tutorial on licenses in the future, and I'll show you why I prefer using open source or ones which have an open license. It's actually a funny story, so I think I'll do a dedicated video just on license and explain why that's important. Okay, with this out of the way, I'm going to create a folder here just to show you what I did. So as you can see here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a blend file, and you see this the Python previously used. And what else we have here? And this was just testing because I said I had to tweak some settings. So you see when I rendered it out, when you first rendered out even the video itself, you see that it has nothing. So I had to tweak the settings in order to see. Now you can see this actual video. And then this was, I believe, from the render, the viewport. And this is the one from the actual, so I'll play it. As you can see now, it's actually playing there. And you see this is the one from the viewport. Yeah, and then obviously I stopped that one, and this is the one if you just render by default without tweaking the settings. You just see the smoke effect. All right, so with that out of the way, let's we can get rid of all of this here. So I'm going to delete everything in here. This is my Blender. Yeah, I believe I can delete everything in here. Yeah, I was testing some other thing. Yeah, so I'll delete everything in here. So just go select all, hit delete. And then we just open up the console. And what I'll do is I'll create a file, just touch cube.py. Actually, you know what? Let me, okay, not too sure here. We can do it several ways. So, okay, well, no, let's do another command line first. It'll be easier. So go faster. And what text editor should I use here? I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? Let me actually just do fully command line. I'll use Nano. So Nano, I think I have to make this maximized. What is it? Clean. Okay, clear this. And I'll use, let me actually zoom in. I think I have to zoom in. Yeah, I'll zoom in first, and I'll say nano cube.py. So we're going to use nano. It's a command line text editor. You can follow along any text editor you want. All right, so let's get started here. So as usual, the first thing you always need to do is you need to import the Blender. Yeah, you need to import Blender. So that's BPY. Then what you do is bpy.ops.object, spell that right, object.modifier.add, and the type you're going to add is going to be fluid. Did I spell that right? Okay, yeah, it does have syntax highlighting, so that's great. Then next you're going to do a mesh, primitive, cube. I'm wondering if I should really do this here from, okay, that's fine. Cube. Okay, I'll do this about a few more minutes because, oh, come on, it fell to the cube. Add. Then you enter edit mode equals false. Align equals world. It has to be caps. There'll also be an error. Then location will be 0, 0, 0, and the scale will just be, everything will be 1. Okay, and then after that we'll also do a object dot modifier, add, we add another type equals fluid. And then yes dot object dot material slot add. And then finally dot ops dot object dot quick smoke. Now this will create the quick smoke effect. However, as I said before, that is not that's not a fire. So what we do then is we change it, and this is the one that confused me, because when you do the quick smoke effect, it actually adds 3 cubes. Oh, it adds a few more objects. So I was always looking for the default cube, which was wrong. So it's actually the one of the added cubes. And we go to the modifiers, fluid dot flow settings, and then the flow type equals fire. Oh, it has to be all caps. And then finally, this is the one that will make it visible. Materials smoke domain material node tree nodes, and then you get the principled volume inputs 8, and then default value. You can fill on with this value, but for me I found that 0.5 worked okay. Okay, so I'll save this. Oops, hopefully, yeah, there we go. So it's all saved. All right. Now we can actually, let's open up Blender and I'll get this out of the way here. Oh, we don't need this anymore. No, actually, just need a smaller version. And yeah, should be fine down here. Make this much smaller. Okay. So open up Blender. Okay, so we have Blender here. Then you go to the scripting tab here. And remember that code that we created. So I'll grab that code for you and I'll paste it here. Oops, click new, paste it here. Now if I run this, watch what will happen. See this cube in here? Watch what will happen if I run this, if there's no mistakes. Yeah, you see what happened? It created the, it gave me the smoke effect, and you can see everything it did here. You see, the good thing is, you see what happened here? It added a fluid, first one here, then it entered edit mode, then it added a modifier called fluid, then we added a material, then we created a cube, and then we created the quick smoke. And then after that, rest, I don't know why I didn't run this rest. So then after that, we changed the flow type. So I'll explain this as well. So basically, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to basically, is there a way we can reset this? Okay, I'll just quit here. Don't save, and I'll show you. If you end up Blender, so what you do is, see this default cube, what you do is you go to Object and see Quick Effects, then you click on Quick Smoke. So what I'll do, I'll change this from, actually this would be nice, but you see there's only camera, cube, and light, right? So if I go and I'll change this to Info, so you can see everything I do here. So when I click this, I go to Object, then I go to Quick Effects, and I click Quick Smoke. So you see, this is basically everything I in the script, Python script. You see the same thing. You just fluid, primitive modifier for the add a modifier fluid, and then the object slot add, and then the quick smoke. So that's all it does. But you see, this is just smoke. So what you do then is we go down to, you select this guy here. And then, and see, unfortunately, this is what confused me. You see, in the info here, when I selected it, it didn't actually tell me. So I'll explain which one to select. So when you go, then you go to the physics tab here, and then you see it says flow type is set to smoke. And you see here it says BCA, what a BY context space. So I tried to do this. This doesn't work in Python. So what you do is flow type, you change that from, you see there's smoke, fire, and smoke, fire, liquid. So I changed that to fire. So when you do that, you see here in the info, now it says the flow type equals fire. So that's what we did. And that's basically how, for example, if I play this animation, you see there's some fire animation, right? As you can see here. Now, the problem with this is if I try to render this, for example, I'll just render one frame. So if I go to render and I say render image, you see what happens? It's gray, right? It doesn't even have the smoke or anything at all. So that's what I was saying, that the problem with, and also some people might say, oh, it's because you're in a different viewport shading. You see, they're all, it doesn't matter which one you pick. But if I go to view here and I put viewport render image, you see to render it nicely, but I don't want the entire viewport with the cameras and everything. So as I said, what you need to do then to fix this is you have to go to the viewport shading. So where's the shading tab here? You see shading here. And then I think I can zoom in here. Okay, there we go. So I'm zooming in here. So then what you have to do is, You see there's a principled BSD here and the material output, which is fine. So what you need to do here is you have to actually click on connect. Yeah, so that's not it. So this is the one, and then what you do is you go down to input number 8. Which one is that one? I think it's the, oh, I don't know which one 8 is here, but one of these ones, and then you have to change. Oops, let me zoom out here. So then you have to change. It was the, not specular, I think subsurface, diffuse. Oh, sorry, I remember now. So I have to put the, you see now, you see this cube, light, smoke domain. And the cubes, there's actually, there's multiple cubes, even if it just shows one here. So I'll go back to info here. And if I click on, there's so much stuff here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Zoom in again. So here, if I change the, too much. So you can fool around with these colors and then go back to the viewport shading, and then you'll be able to, once you do that, then you'll be able to render properly. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to do it through the, so I'm going to do it through through Python. So I'll bring this back up again, maximize it. So let's continue here. So next thing is just render settings. I've done this before, so I'll just let me, I think this might be better if I do it in a, yeah, I think this is a little bit hard to read. So I think what I'll do is I'll just close this for now, and I'm going to open this cube up in a text editor instead. And I will, just a second, show this to you here. Okay, can I zoom in here? Yeah, there we go. So as I said, this part here, that's pretty straightforward. You can get it from the info in Blender. And then this part here, again, you should be able to get this from Blender when you do the info. And this part here, I also, unfortunately, I can't remember which one it is, but I know it's the principled volume, the smoke. This should be, where's the smoke? Oh man, that's weird. Smoke domain material. And then down here, what I did was the, it's obviously set to EV. So I set the render samples to 16. The reason I did this was because I wanted a fast render. I didn't want to wait around. And then obviously I set the transparent, film transparent to true. The render 1920 by 1080, resolution 100%, percentage, FPS 30. I didn't want it to go, I think by default it's 250, so I set it to 150 here just for a short one. And then for the file path, I create video cube file. We've done this before in previous ones. And the image file format, I set to FFmpeg, MP4, H264. There's no audio, so it's set to none. And the constant rate factor is set to medium, and then the preset is set to real time. And then to render using Python, this is what you type in here, OPS, render, animation set to true, right still set to true. And then to create the Blender file, we have done this before in a previous tutorial, so it's just the same. The only difference is obviously how to render an animation and how to, obviously, for example, EV, the render samples and the transparent, and I think everything else is pretty much same, except obviously there was audio before. This one has no audio. So those are all the settings you need. So with that out of the way, let me grab this. Oh, I can't believe it's almost been half an hour. Wow. Okay, then what you do is on the command line, you simply type Blender. Actually, let me clear that stuff on the top. So you type Blender and then B. If you don't, if you type man Blender on Linux, you see it tell you how to run this on a command line. You see B is for background, and A is to render. But I'm not rendering because my Python file is going to render it for me. And you can pick a specific scene. You can pick a frame, start frame, end frame, and jump frame, and render output. I don't need to do any of this because this is all in my Blender, my Python file. And you see then if you want to pick cycles render, so you can pick the engine, how many threads you want to use, and so forth and so forth. I don't need any of that. So it's just Blender. Oh, there's also Python. So if I go here, man, Blender, I'm going to pipe it into grep for Python. Blender, pipe it into grep, and then choose Python. Spell right, Python. So you can see if you put a capital P or a dash Python, that's how you can run the Python. And you see there's other options here. If you just want to run text, expressions, console, exit code, and system environments, debug, environmental system. I don't need any of that. Mine is very simple. It's just going to be Blender. I want it run in the background. And then I want to use Python, so capital P. Maybe it was cube.py. And then and you see it's going to run, oops, what did it say here? Smoke domain. Did I make a mistake here? Default value. Inputs. Oh, I made a mistake here. You see this one here? This should be an array, not a pipe symbol. Okay, so I'll run that again. Actually, let me clear this. Oh, same problem. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put another one here too. Wow. Okay, that's another mistake. Oh, there's another mistake here. This should be... Okay, now it should be okay. Well, I make a mistake here. Enter false. Yeah, let me make sure. I'll just copy it from here. So if you go to jumbo.com, we just copy the code here. You see, all the code is here. So since I made a mistake here, I'll just copy this. Okay, go back to the command line one more time. So you see it's rendering by Python, and it was 150 frames. So this is going to take about it's going to take a while. So what I'll do is I'll just minimize this so you can see it running, and make sure I don't have Blender open. Yeah, so it'll be faster. So what it's going to do is, you see it's creating the video. So what it will do is, if we actually look at my code here, so once the video is finished, it will then generate the blend file. So the blend file will be called cubefire.blend. So Python is going to do all of this for us. Okay, and I said you can see the code here. Just click on the expand, and then you see one more time. You import the Blender or Python Blender API. Then you add the fluid here, and then you add another cube, and obviously the your modifier, then you add a material and the quick smoke effect. Then after that, to the cube, you have to specify the specific cube here. You then change it to fire. You saw me when I selected it in Blender. And then the workaround to solve the rendering issue is you need to go to the materials, the smoke domain material, and there are a bunch of nodes in there, and the principal volume, and input number 8. And the default value, I said you can fool around with this. I found 0.5 was worked for me. And then for the render settings, the reason I changed the render samples to 16 was because I think, yeah, by default, at least in 2025, it's set to 64. So that's going to take a very long time to render. I didn't want to wait around. So I set it to 60. Now, if you want something more pretty, yeah, you can even make it more than 64. And obviously, I set transparent to true. And then the resolution, I left the default, 1920 by 1080. Set the percentage 100%. The FPS, I could probably have lowered this one to render a little faster. I set it to 30. And the end frame I set to 150 because that's 150 divided by 30 will be 5 minutes, which is good enough for the animation. And then if you put // what will happen is Blender will create the file, the output file, in the same path or folder that the blend file is. So in this case, where the Python file is, so that's why I put // If you want to put an absolute path, you can go ahead and do that, but I find this easier for me. And obviously the image file format is FFmpeg because I want a video. And then the format is MP4. Remember, everything for Blender has to be capitalized or all caps. And the codec H64. There's no audio, so that's why the audio codec is set to none. The constant rate factor is set to medium, and then the preset for FFmpeg is set to real time. And then this is the part that actually renders an animation. So you set animation true and right still to true. And then to generate the blend file, it will create this here where it says this is the part that generates a blend file, and you give it a name that you want to use. So that's it there. Let me see how it's going on here. Oh, it finished. Okay, that's see it saved the cube blend file as well. I should have timed this, but okay. Looks like it sped up after a while. It was going slow, then it sped up after a while. Okay, that's great. So now you see it created the video, and you can see it has a black background. That's a world, which is fine. So if I play this, so I can see it's playing there. And then let's open up our blend file here and take a look inside. And you can see now you're able to render, obviously, not just the viewport render, but the normal render. And also, if I want to render just an image, I can render an image. And if you remember before, when I rendered an image, it was just gray. This one you can see that it has the fire, and then you see because I put transparent to true. You see, you can actually see here. So if I want to put something else here, I can do that. So I can save this as a file. So I go save as. I think it allows me to save as a format here. I can save as a WebP, which is fine. So you see the folder, that's where the thing is, that's fine. I'll just hit save. Okay, now remember all the settings here. For example, this guy, is, if you remember the physics, you see it's set to fire. So Python did this. And then we go to shading. And did I select the wrong one? Well, here we go. So principal volume. So for the principal volume, okay, here we go. So you see the it says back body intensity. So let me actually pick this one here. So you see 0, oh, back to 0.5. Oh, if we actually go here and go to the info, so you see here, I've been fooling around. When you see it says number 8, so it's called the back body intensity. This is the one I had to change in order to be able to render. I think by default it's set to 0, so I think that's the 0 one here. So for example, if I go to render, yeah, you see it's set to 0. So when you render, it's just gray. And so if I set it to 1, it's called black body intensity. So now I've set it to 1. Now if I go to render again, just the image, you can see it renders. And I set it to 0.5 because I didn't really see a difference. So set it back to about, let's say there. So now if I go to render again, yeah, so I didn't see a difference. That's why I set it to 0.5. So that's so that's it. And you can see if we go to the output here, you can see it's EV and what else is here? Film. You see the transparent set to true. That's we did that as well. And our samples, you see render samples is set to 16. And if we go to our output here, format, you see 1920, 1080, 100%, and FPS is set to 30. You see the output here, / video cube file. And when we go to encoding, obviously you see file format is FFmpeg. Video, you see MP4, H.264, the quality, medium, and then encoding is real time. And you see audio codec, no audio. Now, just to prove this, so if I close this and I just enter, don't save. If I just open up a regular Blender, let's see the default settings. So obviously it's if we go to this format, you see it's 1920, 100%. That's fine. You see the default is 24 FPS, and you see it's RGBA, it's PNG. So those are the things that that were changed. Okay, so I think that's good enough for this tutorial. Close this. Let's go back to the article here so we can finish up. Is it frozen? What's going on here? Okay, so as you saw, I was able to create a fire animation for a cube just using Python. So this speeds up your animations, because you can just, especially when you run it in the background on the command line, it's just much faster. Okay, so quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then live sub menu. You can see this is the current generate Blender cube file animation using Python, the channel it's going to be on, and then the approximate date and time, and this are feature dated ones. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And if you enjoy this, consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. You can buy my programming books on Amazon, search for ojambo, links in the description. You can hire me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. You can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. Okay, the donate button is also up here in the header. Okay. Oh, I have some chat, so sorry I missed that before. I do not have my own Python extensions yet. So somebody asked me if I have any add-ons for Blender. I don't have them yet, but I will maybe in the future I'll create some. One I'll probably want to create is one to make it easy to do simple things. Like there's some exciting things that I'll be doing in the future. For example, audio animations. So what I'm saying is that I could take maybe a picture and do some Python scripting, so it animates like moving or talking by itself, and then based on the audio, I'll probably do that in the future. And then I want to do more video scripting. So I'm not sure I'll create an extension or an add-on for other people. I'm saying if you guys want it, I could, but I'm saying it'll be most likely for things that I do. But I think what I might do is maybe with some simple like AI stuff, I could get it to create an maybe an animation. For example, if you take a picture of yourself, you could create a Python script which can maybe animate your picture like it's moving or talking. Could probably do things like that. And I said, if it's popular, I don't mind making an extension out of it. And yeah, you know what? That's actually not a, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, maybe in a future tutorial I'll also show you how you can make your own your own Blender extensions. They're pretty easy because it's just Python, so it's pretty straightforward. Okay, guys, I think I'll end it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.